episode to Perfectly Paralegal, where we give you the tools and information you'll need to be as perfect as your attorney expects you to be. Here to help you maintain your sanity is your host, Linda McGrath-Cruz.
Hey guys, so today I wanted to chat a little bit about LinkedIn. We will go through some statistics and then some best practices. Stay tuned until the end for a very special discount only for podcast listeners on my LinkedIn hands-on tutorial, which covers LinkedIn from A to Z. I will personally walk you through every step. No fluff, no fillers, all action. So there's no question that LinkedIn is an amazing job search tool. Having a professional LinkedIn profile dramatically increases your chances of getting the job you want. As of March 2018, there were over 11 million active job listings on LinkedIn and information on over 9 million companies. You can use LinkedIn to find job openings and apply for them, research companies, and even reach out to connections to get the skinny on the firm culture. But how about for those of you who aren't in the market for a new job? A LinkedIn presence is still critical, and there are many beneficial reasons to being a LinkedIn member. Consider these numbers. And don't worry, there's not going to be a test. There are over 540 million users on LinkedIn, and 40% of those users use LinkedIn on a daily basis. LinkedIn gains 2 new members every single second. Profiles with professional headshots get 14 times more profile views. And profiles with any kind of photograph get 36 times more messages. Profiles with 5 or more skills listed get 17 times more profile views. Finally, 44% of LinkedIn users earn more than $75,000 a year, and 41% of millionaires use LinkedIn. That's some pretty good company. Now, ask yourself these questions. Have you ever had to find a vendor or service provider in another area, or had to file something in another jurisdiction and thought it would be convenient to have a friend there that you could ask for advice or information? Have you ever gone to another city or state for a CLE, a conference, or even a work event and thought it would be nice to get some area intel from a local, or even meet up for lunch, dinner, or drinks? Have you thought about moving to a new area and wondered what job obstacles you might face, or what other important considerations you'll need to keep in mind? Perhaps you're a writer or a speaker and would like more exposure for your work. Or would you like people to be able to find you so they can invite you to write or speak for them? Have you ever had to do work in an area of law you aren't familiar with and thought it would be helpful to get some input from a paralegal working in that field? Have you ever needed to research the education or work history of a party to a case, or perhaps an expert witness or even opposing counsel? Maybe you need to track down a party in order to get them served. Have you ever wanted to connect with a professional contact, but one or both of you didn't want to share the personal environment of connecting on Facebook? As a legal professional, a professional LinkedIn profile is crucial. Perhaps you've never even considered making a LinkedIn account, or you have an account that you've neglected and doesn't really portray the professional superstar that you know you are. Whether you're just starting out in the field, an experienced superstar professional, or anywhere in between, I'm here to help you stand out from the crowd. It's also important to keep in mind that your LinkedIn presence takes time to perfect and grow. The time to start your LinkedIn journey is now, not at some point in the future when you know you'll need it. So don't wait. Whether you've done absolutely nothing with your LinkedIn profile or have kind of patched something together in a hurry, it's time to get started on making that profile really shine today. So before you start making any changes to your profile, you should be aware of a setting called Sharing Profile Edits. When sharing is turned on, your network will be notified about changes to your profile. Normally, this is fine if you're adding a new job, a commendation, a new educational accomplishment, or something like that. These kind of notices are great and help you interact with your network. But when you're creating your profile at the start, or cleaning up typos, or just doing some regular housekeeping, you don't want your network to be notified about every single change. So you need to turn the option off, and once you're happy with the final version of your profile, go ahead and turn it back on. You can access this setting under Settings and Privacy, click on Privacy, and then click on Sharing Profile Edits and toggle the switch to off. Now that that's done, start with your profile picture and headline. Your LinkedIn photograph can sometimes be the very first impression you give to someone. A professional photographer taking your headshot would be awesome. They'll make sure the angle and lighting and so on is flattering. But we all don't have that luxury. Sometimes you can get a professional headshot done for free at conferences, so keep an eye out for that option. For most people, a regular picture taken with your phone will do just fine. Preferably, though, not a selfie. Hand the phone over to someone else to take the picture. You should be alone in the picture. Make sure your hair is neat and your makeup is professional. If you don't wear makeup, that's fine, don't wear any. Just look like you would look to go on an interview or a professional day at work. Use a photo that accurately represents what you actually look like currently. You don't want to meet someone you've connected with on LinkedIn, especially for a job interview, and realize that the photo was accurate 20 years ago. Be true to yourself. Don't look too serious and try to curb any resting bitch face, unless that's the look you really want to go for. You should try to appear warm and approachable. Stick with a professional looking top in a solid color. Even if you currently work in a casual environment, try to step it up a notch. Keep the background simple and distraction free. Up against a wall or something like that would be great. Don't take your photo at the mall with a dozen people walking around behind you and a Victoria's Secrets in the background. Finally, your picture should be pretty close up. From the mid-chest up works perfectly. You don't want to be super zoomed in on your face, but you don't want to be way off in the distance either. Got that? Clean, neat, looking professional, looking approachable, not too far away, but not too close. That's perfect. Now, next, you'll want to jazz up your headline. LinkedIn will automatically fill in your headline for you with your most recent employment position, but you can change it at any time, and you really should. Even if you're replacing it with almost the same information, doing it with your own words works better. Your LinkedIn headline is the 1 to 3 lines of information immediately below your name. You have 120 characters to make an amazing second impression. Remember, your photo already made your first impression. Here are a few basics to keep in mind. You can use regular punctuation or vertical bars to separate phrases. You should type in normal caps and never use all caps. So rude, am I right? You should also avoid using symbols. Also, LinkedIn says you cannot include any personal contact information, such as an email address, telephone number, or website address. So just stick with good old letters and punctuation. The information in your headline will vary depending on your goal. This is your mini elevator pitch. You have 120 characters to sell whatever it is you're selling. It's your headline, so be yourself, but feel free to be creative and express yourself. Just keep in mind it's a professional platform and your current or future employers will probably see it at some point. Now let's look at your summary. Your summary is kind of a cover letter for your LinkedIn profile. It's probably one of the most viewed and most public pieces of your profile. Your summary should be unique and personal. If you're not sure what to say, start by looking at the summaries of people you admire. Just check them out on LinkedIn and give them a read and think about how they made you feel. Did you get to know them better? Did you learn something about them? Or Did they sound like a sociopath? So now start to think about the message that you want to send to people. You should always write your summary in the first person, be clear and concise, and for the love of God, please proofread your summary. It's a great way to tell your story. Now let's talk about the best part, your LinkedIn profile. Your profile should complement your resume, but it doesn't need to be exactly identical. What I mean is, you can add additional information. Of course, your resume and your LinkedIn profile should add up as far as companies you have worked for, date ranges, job titles, and job descriptions or duties, and so on. But you can add so much more personality and information on LinkedIn. You can expand upon your job descriptions, add excerpts from performance reviews, or even attach copies of supporting documentation such as letters of recommendation, writing samples, appropriately redacted, of course, awards, commendations, degrees, certificates, and so on. You can upload PDFs, images, Word documents, YouTube videos, and more. As you look at your profile, make sure everything is in its proper place. For example, LinkedIn has a category for experience and a separate category for volunteer positions. The experience section is meant for your actual jobs where you worked. So volunteer work should not go under experience, it should go under volunteer experience. Degrees and certificates, of course, should go under education. There are also sections for publications where you can put any writing you may have done, for example, articles you wrote for your paralegal association. A section for organizations where you can put information on associations or other entities you were involved with, perhaps as a member or if you held a position such as a chair of a committee and so on. There's even a certification section where you can put your certifications such as the NALA CP, the NIFPA RP, or the NALS PP. Remember, whenever possible, link the company, association, or organization when adding its name. If they have a LinkedIn presence, it should pop up as you start typing the name, and then you can click on it. This will add the proper logo automatically on your profile. Now, once you're happy with your profile, don't forget to turn back on the setting you changed earlier so that future changes or additions will be shared to your network. The next thing you'll want to do is start building your network. You need to decide first whether you want to limit your network to a certain audience, or if you prefer to be a lion. A lion stands for LinkedIn Open Networker, and it's basically a person who will connect with pretty much anyone on LinkedIn. Perhaps you only want to connect with paralegals in your local area or in your state, or perhaps you're open to connecting to legal professionals of any kind across the country. Whatever your preference is, start connecting. LinkedIn will only work for you if you have eyes on your profile when you need to have eyes on your profile. If you're not sure who to connect with, start with people at your current or past employer, at the school that you went to, or at an association that you volunteered for. You can easily use the search bar to look up people, companies, and so on. You can even search by job title. Once you've started working on creating a valuable network, you can start being nosy. Interested in working at a particular company? Look up the company and see if you have connections in common. Now, this is a good time to explain connection types. On LinkedIn, connections are based on degrees. So, for example, a person you are directly connected with is your first degree connection. People who are connected to your first degree connections but are not connected to you are your second degree connections. And finally, their connections are your third degree connections. The further away the person's connection is, the less access you have to them. So if you have first degree connections, don't be shy. Send them a message and start a conversation. Of course, keep things professional and be sincere. Don't start out with a me, and asking a total stranger to hook you up with a big favor. Be genuine. And also remember to use common sense. For example, if you're looking for insight about a company and you reach out to a fellow paralegal who works at the same company, make sure it's not a confidential job posting that they may not be aware about. If the job is being advertised online openly with the company name, it's probably safe to go ahead and ask. Remember all of those other reasons we talked about at the beginning of this episode? You can definitely reach out to connections and ask them about the culture or other issues in a firm they currently work for or used to work for. Ask for vendor suggestions in their area, for tips or suggestions if you're coming to their area for an event, and so on. Just be overly polite. Remember, we're all busy working professionals, so don't waste their time, and please don't forget to respond and be thankful if they provide the requested information. Finally, stay active on LinkedIn. Remember to keep your profile updated if you change jobs or have a new accomplishment. The best time to build your network or engage with it is when you don't need it. That way, when you do need something, you won't seem like such a user. Also, make sure to post on your LinkedIn wall from time to time, but keep it professional. You can share pictures, links, stories, and so on. Just remember, it's not Facebook. If you feel like you need more help with your LinkedIn account, visit perfectlyparalegal.com and sign up for our comprehensive LinkedIn course, which will provide you with the A to Z's of not only setting up your LinkedIn account and configuring your privacy settings, but also show you how to effectively use LinkedIn. The total running time for the course is just over 2 hours. It's conveniently divided into sections so you can go to specific areas that you are looking for the most help with. And as a bonus, you'll get CLE credit as well. Whether you have yet to dip your toes into the LinkedIn social media experience or have an account that you aren't using to its fullest potential, the course will provide you with a wealth of information. No fluff, filler, or boring PowerPoint slides here. I'll personally guide you option by option through the LinkedIn site, showing you the steps needed to accomplish each action. The course is usually $25, but in the month of July, you can get it for only $15 using coupon code PODCAST10. That's the word podcast and the number 10. I'll put a link in the episode description, and you can reach out to me directly at lmc@perfectlyparalegal.com if you have any problems. You can even add on some custom one-on-one assistance if you feel you need it. So I hope you are taking away some good tips and tricks from this episode. Don't forget to continue the conversation by joining us in the Perfectly Paralegal Facebook group.
Thanks for listening to the Perfectly Paralegal Podcast with Linda McGrath Cruz. Be sure to share, subscribe, and connect with us online for even more resources and support. Learn more at perfectlyparalegal.com.